morning, friends. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, and that is also the name of my Facebook page, as well as my website if you would like to order most of the supplies. And here is what we will be working on for today. Now, you may already have napkins on hand for this project because I took napkins that I wasn't that crazy about, and I decided to use those to cut up. I love the colors, but not the napkins so much. So the first thing I did was I went out into my yard and I found a dead branch at the base of a tree, more of a twig, and I painted the whole thing with gesso. While the gesso was wet, I actually poured some glitter on it, clear glitter or white glitter, because I want the branch to stand out a little bit, and then I let this dry. I then took my cone coffee filters and cut them in half, and I laid the napkin face down, and I'd already separated the napkin, and I put decoupage glue on the coffee filter, and now I'm placing it on the napkin where I would like the pattern to come up on the coffee filter. I'm working on a craft mat here, which I just got. It's available on my website because I'm finding that it is invaluable to me. And I'm doing the same thing with this filter, putting decoupage glue on it. I'm using matte decoupage glue, it's Mod Podge. And I'm trying to find a nice place where I like the pattern, and I'm going to put that down and cover the backs of these. Also with the matte Mod Podge. And I'll just do this to both. Now, while these are still wet with the Mod Podge, I'm taking the same napkin, a different napkin with the same pattern, and I'm going to place it face up. They're pretty napkins, I just wasn't wild about them. I did love the colors. So I placed them face up, took a piece of saran wrap and smoothed everything down. Now I want to make sure that I keep wiping this area underneath this craft mat because I don't want anything tacky to tear my napkin, so I just keep clearing this off. By the way, I know someone will ask me, this does measure 18 by 15, that craft mat. Now I'm going to get rid of this excess part of the napkin to make this a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to take a paintbrush and wet right around the coffee filter, and I'm just going to tear away all of this excess. And by the way, the Mod Podge has completely dried now. You can see there are no wrinkles on this because I used the saran wrap. But you want to wait until these are dry, and that is maybe within 15 minutes. It dries quickly. Pull away the excess. Then I took my large butterfly punch. EK Tools makes this. It's available on my website. And I chose an area of the napkin where I really like the pattern, and I punched out some large butterflies. Now I did this with several coffee filters and napkins. I just kept punching large butterflies out, and here's how it looks on both sides. I then took Mod Podge gloss. Sorry, that's out of focus a little bit. And I painted the butterflies, both the front and the back, with the Mod Podge gloss. I say painted, I mean I applied the Mod Podge to the butterflies. Again, I'm going to wipe away that mat. These napkins are very delicate right now and they could tear. And while these were wet, I added glitter to the front and back. And in order to dry these, because both sides were wet, I actually used paper clips and put them on a wire hanger and hung them near the heater. They dried really quickly, and I just wanted to make sure that I folded these a little bit, bent them a little bit so that they weren't quite so flat. I then took my smaller butterfly punch, and this has 3 different options on it, and I selected the one in the middle, and I made a bunch of smaller butterflies using those same steps. And I added the Mod Podge gloss to this also, and then put some glitter over it. Now you can do a watercolor effect on your coffee filters. I just took some water and I painted the coffee filter. And then I took acrylic paint and I wet the edge of this styrofoam plate and pulled some of the paint into the water so that it's giving it a nice watery effect on the filter. Then I used some distress paint. Now I did have to take the brush again and go over that. And then another interesting thing about this is you can do a couple of filters at a time, because while this was wet, I just took another filter and I went over the top of it. I placed it over the top of it like this, wet it, and the color actually went right on through to the back coffee filter. Let that dry so that I could actually have 4 separate pieces. I still ended up adding decoupage glue over the coffee filters that I had just painted because I wanted to add the glitter, but also because it made the butterflies much more firm. And here's a dry one. And on some of the butterflies, I added a little hot glue over one of the large ones, and I glued one of the tiny ones in the center on some of them. I wanted all different types of butterflies on my tree. I then began to hot glue the butterflies all over these branches. Now you may notice a piece of nylon thread a little bit over to the right there. And what I attempted to do was to make a few of these butterflies hang from the tree. And what I did was I actually put a needle through the butterfly and used this nylon string. Honestly, I did 2 of these and it was so frustrating. I couldn't do any more than 2. It's really hard to see the string. The butterflies kept flopping the wrong way. It looked a little sloppy. So I left them there for the end of the project, but it was really a lot more work than I wanted it to be. So I ended up just hot gluing all of my butterflies to the rest of the branch. And then once I was all done with everything, I put it inside a container, and here's how the finished project looks. I'm very happy with this. I hope you guys give this a try. If you've got any questions, please just comment below in the comment section. Thank you so much for subscribing and some of your lovely comments. It's so nice to hear from you. Really looking forward to springtime, and this is going to bring the spring into our house a little bit earlier. And thanks again. I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye-bye.